The two younger Cratchits hustled Tiny Tim off to the washroom.
And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold. He gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much. He told me that he hoped the people in church saw him because he was a cripple. And it might be pleasant on Christmas to remember who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Tim's active little crutch was heard on the floor, and back again came Tiny Tim, escorted by his brother and sister to a stool by the fire. Master Peter and the two younger Cratchits went to fetch the goose, with which they soon returned in high procession. Such a bustle ensued that you would have thought a goose the rarest of birds. And in truth, it was something very like that in that. Its tenderness and flavour and size were themes of universal praise. At last, the dinner was all done, and Bob proposed,
"A Merry Christmas to us all. God bless us."
God bless us, everyone,
said Tiny Tim, last year. Chestnuts were passed around, and they had a song about a lost child travelling in the snow from Tiny Tim, who had a plaintive little voice and sang it very well indeed. Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat by the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
No, no, kind spirit, say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, let him do it. Decrease the surplus population.
Scrooge hung his head. But he raised it speedily upon hearing a hearty laugh, and recognizing it as his nephew's, and finding himself in a bright, clear room. He said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, he believed it, too. Oh, he's a comical old fellow, that's the truth, and not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offences carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him. I have no patience with him, said Scrooge's niece, and all their assembled guests expressed the same opinion. Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. Who suffers for his ill whims? Himself, always him. He takes it into his head to dislike us, and he won't come and dine with us. What's the consequence? He loses some pleasanter moments. I mean to give him the same chance every year, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas until the day he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him if he finds me going there in good humour every year and saying, "Uncle Scrooge, hi!" Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, wherever he is. Uncle Scrooge. But Scrooge and the spirit were again upon their travels. The spirit stood by sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home. By poverty, and it was rich. In misery's every refuge, the spirit left his blessing and taught Scrooge his precepts. Spirit, forgive me, but I see something strange. From the foldings of its robe, the spirit brought forth 2 children. Wretched, frightful, hideous, miserable. They clung to its garments. Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me. This boy is ignorance. This girl is want. Beware them both, but most of all beware this boy. For upon his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
The bell struck 12. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, Scrooge remembered the prediction of Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist upon the ground towards him. It was clothed in a deep black garment, which concealed its face and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand. The spirit neither spoke nor moved. I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You were about to show me the shadows of things that have not happened but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spectre I have seen, but as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, I am prepared to bear you company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? The spirit stretched forward its hand before them. Lead on. Lead on. It is precious time to me. Lead on, Spirit. The city seemed to spring up about them, and the spirit stopped beside a knot of businessmen. No, I don't know much about it. I only know he's dead. When did he die? Last night, I believe. I thought he'd never die. What has he done with his money? Left it to his company, perhaps. Hasn't left it to me, that's all I know. It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life I don't know of anybody to go to it. Scrooge looked to the spirit for an explanation, but the ghost only glided on towards an obscure part of town which reeked with crime and filth. Sitting in a shop was an old rascal. A woman carrying a heavy bundle slunk into the shop. She threw the bundle on the floor. Every person has a right to take after themselves. He always did. And he wanted to keep them after he was dead. Wicked old screw. Why wasn't it natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of gasping, lying alone there. Open up that bundle, old Joe. Let me know the value of it. Old Joe unfastened a great many knots and dragged out a heavy bundle. Bed curtains? You don't mean to say you took them down, rings and all, with him lying there? Yes, I do. Blankets. His blankets? Yes. He isn't likely to take cold without them. Ah, you may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but it hasn't got a hole in it. It's the best he had. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me. What you call wasting it? Putting it on him to be buried in. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. Scrooge listened to this dialogue in horror. Spirit, I see. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. Let me see some tenderness connected with a death.